What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be without Austin Reeves. We'll see how long. Lakers have been very precautionary with Austin Reeves, but he is expected to miss this upcoming game and against the Atlanta Hawks. And then we will kind of see how that progresses moving forward. Growing injuries are not anything to mess around with, nothing to play with. We've seen it even hamper LeBron James over the years. So again, we're seeing with LeBron, Luka Doncic, guys like that, Lakers kind of being a little more cautious than they would be otherwise. If this was the playoffs, something like that, he's probably playing through it. But this early in the season, the success that the Lakers are having, I imagine that they are going to kind of slowly bring him back if they can. Obviously, look, if he's good to go, medical team clears him, everything like that, then yeah, Austin Reeves wants to play. I mean, he's a guy that's played 82 games before. He wants to play 82 games every season. But we also have a goal of winning an NBA championship. So I do think that the Lakers are making the right call of just being, precautious, overly precautious. But talked about guys missing, how this is really good opportunities for various players. And we've seen a lot of guys step up, even games where we didn't have LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves in that game, and we actually won that game. And one of the guys that really stepped up big in that game in particular was Nick Smith Jr. He was somebody that I was very high on, was very excited for, talked about him last season as a guy maybe the Lakers could get in a trade, or, then when he was being rumored as a potential buyout candidate, I was like, hey, he'd be a great option. Here's why. And then ultimately he gets bought out, and I'm like, Lakers need to go and get him. Young, athletic, versatile. I look at him kind of a Lou Williams, Malik Monk type of player that can, initiate the offense. But I look at him more as like the sixth man type of guy. Although defensively, he has been doing a much better job defensively, but he's just, he's like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3". I know he looks bigger than usual. People are like, oh man, like he looks like he's like 6'5", something like that. No, it's just usually the hair. But if he can kind of find that rhythm on the defensive side of things, then maybe there would be moments where, because you got Luka and Austin Reeves, maybe at some point, like defensively, Luka's at the 3 type thing. But we'll see. Getting a little ahead of ourselves, right? But I do think that Nick Smith Jr. may potentially benefit most from Austin Reeves missing a little time. Because I think it'll give him the opportunity, 1, to get more on-ball opportunities, 2, get more kind of playmaking opportunities, and 3, get more opportunities as an aggressive scorer, as a guy that, because Austin Reeves is averaging 31 points and almost 10 assists a game, right? Like, it's a lot of just generated offense that we're missing with him out. But Nick Smith Jr., we've seen, can go and get you, 20 plus, but also dish out 6 assists. Now, he's incredibly young. He's 21. He's not somebody that I expect to be, like all of a sudden he's putting up all-star level numbers and giving you, 30 points a night or anything like that. Could he go and give you one randomly? Sure, right? Look, the guy nearly got that the other night. So, but I don't want to have insane expectations for him. He is a very young player. He is a bit of a development player. He is a bit of a prospect, right? But again, he's a guy that I do think can come in, play a role for the Lakers, right? Get more opportunities, again, as that bucket getter and scorer. He's a guy that proved he can score the basketball last season, even for a Charlotte team, right? Now, he didn't get much opportunities in the Spurs game that we played, but so far for the Lakers this season, he's averaging 9 points, 1.5 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, shooting 52% from the floor in total, right? So to me, let him kind of cook. You get 50 games with your two-way guys. And look, Nick Smith Jr. is a guy that I've talked about. I wouldn't be shocked if he's on the main roster at some point this season. After the trade deadline, Lakers would have money to, they have the money, but they have to wait, right? Because the contracts are prorated. So they can either A, just clean sign him, in like 3 months, and kind of just let him play his 50 games. Once his 50 games are up, boom, just again, clean sign him into your cap space that you have remaining. Or Lakers, which I think will happen at some point, Lakers end up pulling off a trade, and then that trade opens up a roster spot where then you could bring in a Nick Smith Jr., especially like if you end up unloading a Gabe Vincent or something like that for, say, a defensive two-way wing. It's like, hey, we could probably use another guard, another ball handler, another guy, even if, he doesn't really see the court much come playoff time. At least he's a guy that we have just in case, right? Break glass in case of emergency, rather than have it and not need it than need it and not have it type thing. So definitely something that I could see the Lakers doing. But in the meantime, until he ends up on the main roster, him getting as many opportunities to prove himself as possible is really good. The problem is him, if he outperforms what the Lakers can pay, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword with two-way guys, right? Because particularly a guy like a Nick Smith Jr., right? Because if he goes and he balls out and he's fantastic for the Lakers, there's probably a team, and there's a lot of teams that have cap space this offseason, probably a team somewhere that's like, man, I'd love to get that guy off the Lakers, one. And two, right, he's the kind of guy that we could use. Guy that can handle the basketball, make some plays, score the basketball, be a Lou Williams, Malik Monk type, right? Look at the bag Malik Monk got after leaving the Lakers, right? And that was always the attention because the Lakers knew they weren't going to be able to pay him, right? Malik Monk went there specifically to prove himself. This is another example, though, what I've talked about, right? Like Lakers have shown time and time again, if you want to prove yourself, if you want to get a better contract, go to the Lakers. Like Lakers are going to get these guys regularly. But I would really like to keep Nick Smith Jr. because he's a guy that's already proven. So the problem is that if you play him too much and he balls out, right, he's probably not going to sign a 5-year deal at a vet minimum. He's probably, if you're lucky, maybe get 2 years. So really this year, whatever's left of this year and then next year, and then you have to pay him, right? Maybe you get lucky and, if a team, say teams are offering him like $12 million, maybe he's like, hey, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have got the opportunity, pay me 10, give me 4 years, $40 million, or 3 years, $30 million instead of, the 4 years, $40 million that, or $48 million or whatever that they're paying, or whatever, right? Like maybe he's willing to take a bit of a haircut in order to stick around with the Lakers because that's where he wanted to be. Lakers gave him the opportunity, gave him the shine. But if teams are like, hey, we'll give you $17 million, Lakers just can't afford to pay that and pay Austin Reeves and DeAndre Ayton and potentially Rui Hachimura and so on and so forth. So, but Nick Smith Jr. is a guy that I do think can help a ton while we have guys like Gabe Vincent and Austin Reeves out and stuff like that. It's also why, Nick Smith Jr. balled out, saved the Lakers, and then didn't really get much opportunity after that. I mean, last game against the Spurs, he only played 7 minutes, right? And it's like, that's odd. Or is it? Right? Again, it's one of those things where, so I said this a couple years ago about Max Christie, and I've actually said it about a couple players, and people thought I was crazy, and then it happened, right? I talked about Max Christie with Darvin Ham. They're going to have to pay him, right? Are they really going to play him? He was balling out in preseason. If you remember, he had a really good summer league, looking great in preseason, and I was like, I don't think they're going to play him very much because I think that they're scared that they're going to have to pay him a lot. And sure enough, he didn't really get playing time. Now, was that really just all Darvin Ham, or was that kind of, hey, let's get him signed? Because as soon as he signs, all of a sudden, he's getting minutes, right? Because they had him locked up long term, right? So, I don't know, just tinfoil hat conspiracy, but I've mentioned it several other times in the past years on players, and it's happened. And, we don't know for certain if it was specifically because they didn't want to pay the guy, right? Or they wanted to kind of keep him cheaper. But, it's just odd that, Max Christie's probably the best example. He was balling out, and I was like, they're probably not going to play him much because they want to keep him under wraps, right? I said the same thing with Arthur Kaluma, and then he didn't even get to see Summer League, right? Because they didn't want a team. I think that they were worried that a team was going to come in and swoop him up. And because again, why wouldn't he? He was one of your best summer league players in the limited minutes. You were keeping him minutes low. But anyway, I'm digressing. Right? Point is do they do the same thing with Nick Smith? Right? Do they do something where they kind of keep his minutes down, just when they really need him? Because he's a guy that I do think could greatly benefit from Austin Reeves being out. He's a guy that can go get buckets for you, can score the basketball, do multiple things out there. Like I said, he's listed as 6'2", 185, probably, 6'2", 6'3". He's basically Gabe Vincent's height and size type thing. So I look at him in many ways as a Gabe Vincent replacement. But again, like, what do the Lakers want to do? Because you look at last season, right? 60 games played, 27 games started, 23 minutes per game, 9.5 field goal attempts per game, shot 39% from the field, 34% from three-point range on 5.1 attempts. On 3 attempts the previous year, his rookie season, he actually shot 43.2%. My hope is that he can get somewhere in the middle. Right now for the Lakers, he's shooting 50% on 3 attempts. Now, again, it's a very limited sample size, so I don't want to be like, oh my God, like he's an elite 3-point shooter. But like I said, if he can be 38% for his career, really, like you look at the 2 seasons that he had the actual sample size, right? He shot 43.2% on 3 attempts and then 34% on 5 attempts. Can he be in the middle of that? 37, 38%, that would be great on, say, like 4 attempts, something like that off the bench. 2-point range, he's shooting, last season shot on 4.4 attempts, 45% from the field. This season, he's shooting 53.3% on 4 attempts. EFG of 48.2% last year. This season, 63%, which is ridiculous. Free throw shooting. Lakers across the board have really struggled with free throw shooting. Now, he is a career 91% free throw shooter. Last season, he shot 93.5%, although on 0.2 attempts, 0.8 attempts. This season, he's getting 0.8 attempts as well, and he's shooting 66.7%, so not great. Rebounds, last season, 2.1 rebounds, 2.5 assists, half a steal, half a block, and 9.9 points per game. This season, in 16 minutes, so 6 minutes less, he's averaging 9 points, 2.5 assists, 1.5 rebounds, half a steal, half a block. If you look at his per 36 this season, which again doesn't tell you everything, but kind of like if he got a bigger, more expanded role, he'd be averaging 20.3 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and a block per game. It's really good. So I think this is a good opportunity for him. I think this gives him a chance to really kind of step up and prove himself for this Lakers team. We will see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. It's me enjoy these types of videos. I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.